of you. So, after a good gap, I am back for your subject, and I hope you must be now ready with whatever we have already discussed. Last unit which I wanted to discuss with you, though I have already started this working capital management last time, and we discussed operating cycle in detail. What is operating cycle and what is the objective to know the operating cycle, basically cycle period, and how to reduce that cycle period. So, I will first give you around 5 to 10 minutes brief of what in previous session we discussed, and after that we will go to the details of it, which will talk about working capital management, some different aspects, as well as one or two numerical which will be required for calculation of impact on the working capital, change of working capital, and effect of working capital change on the profitability of the organization, leverage of the organization, and so on. These things we will discuss. When we started working capital, the two terms were there, gross working capital and net working capital. Total of current asset is called gross working capital, but when you deduct from current asset the current liability, that is current asset minus current liability, it becomes net working capital. So, gross working capital and net working capital has got that differential, which is actually a working capital margin. Practically, it means that how much of the working capital is getting financed from the long term financings, because short term financing is current liability, and out of your current asset, current liability is already deducted. And when current asset minus current liability means, suppose 100 rupees is current asset and say 70 rupees is current liability. So, 100 minus 70 is going to be 30, that is net working capital, and that 30 net working capital must have come from the long term financing. That is the meaning of it, because short term financing is already included into current liability. So, current asset minus current liability, when we say current liability is already covering the short term financing, means if you deduct it, so remaining amount is coming from the long term financing. That is the simple meaning of it. Now, that is why it is a question, how much is too much, that is the management, because definition is not the management, how best, how optimum level could be maintained, that is the part of management. Next portion is, if suppose current liability is bigger than current asset, let us say 100 is your current asset and 120 is your current liability. Now, what happens? Current asset minus current liability, that is negative working capital. Question is, what is the relevance of negative working capital, or what is the meaning of negative working capital, how it is going to affect an organization? Prima facie, it is going to give you an impression whether it is a good or bad. If we always have got a kind of mindset that current asset minus current liability should be positive, then in that case we will look negative working capital as a doubtful condition, a condition which is not normal, abnormal condition. But it is whatever we have already discussed in the previous semester during the discussion of current ratio, when we were talking about current asset upon current liability, and current liability was bigger than current asset, leading to less than 1 current ratio, and practically we checked number of organization has got less than current ratio, less than 1, and they were all good organization, managing their current asset better, means managing their working capital better. And if they are managing their working capital better, it means negative working capital may not necessarily be a bad thing. It is not something like which is Negative means it has got a negative impact. It's not like that. Negative working capital can lead to a better management where company is highly enriched with their efficient management, leading to lesser quantum of current asset, very efficient requirement of their inventory and receivables and all those are there, and with that organization a good number of supplier company can be in a position to supply for a longer term, creating more current liability. So negative working capital is also good condition of an organization. So whether it is positive working capital or negative working capital, you can't come to a direct conclusion that whether organization is healthy or unhealthy. You have to peep into it. What is the reason because of this negative working capital, or what is the reason of being a bigger or positive working capital? Then only you can decide about it. This is working capital. Now, another important aspect is what we should do, how we should go ahead. So first we will understand operating cycle, which is a kind of cyclic condition in which you start with a game with your cash and end up with the cash. See, ultimate objective of an organization belonging to any kind of ownership structure, that objective is to earn profit. And whether it is public sector or private sector, whether it is a company form or partnership form or proprietorship form, profitability is must. And what is profitability? It is actually the residual income available to the risk taker, called shareholders, called owner. Something has to be left for those owners. And if it is left for the owner, which is called net profit, it simply indicates that organization has already paid to everyone, because payment to owner is the last. It's always called as residual payment. So profitability has to be made. And profit is very simple. Whatever you are selling and whatever you have to do for that sellings, so revenue generated from selling minus whatever you have to make payment is your profit. Those payments may be compulsive payments, impulsive payments. Those compulsive payments may be needed one or imposed one. Everything you have to make payment. When I say compulsive payment, like making payment to raw material, making payment to labor, making payment to fuel, making payment to the capacity cost, those are compulsive. When you have to pay. What is impulsive payment? Your willingness to pay. Best example is endorsement, advertisement. How much you will be advertising, how much you will spend on that advertisement, how much you will be giving on some brokerage charges and other things. That is your impulsive payments. And a time comes when impulsive payments become bigger than the compulsive payments. A good number of bigger organizations spend a good quantum of money on impulsive payments because they have to reach. They may call it brand building, they may call it reaching to the different places. All those things are there. So it's not like that 100% cost is compulsive cost. It is impulsive cost also. People may have an excuse that in the field of competition, where fierce competition is there, without endorsement, without these impulsive costs, you will not be able to sustain. You will not be able to continue in your business. And especially in the oligopoly market. Oligopoly market is the market where too much of the impulsive expenditure becomes compulsive in nature. We all know rivalries keep on going on. Say soft drink market is very important. Now these are the certain ways through which you have to decide about it. And there the approach to decide whether these expenditures are going to be capital expenditure or revenue expenditure, that has to be set. You will study these whatever right now I am referring, how to treat these expenditures, whether it is a capital expenditure, whether it could be stored or it could be then and there exhausted in the end of the period, will depend on your approach, and that will come in a specialization paper in finance called valuation, brand valuation. You must have heard as on date when we say Apple has got this brand value, how that brand value has got created. When we say Google has got brand value, when we say TCS has got brand value, Coca-Cola has got brand value. There was a time 20 years back Coca-Cola was number 1 in the brand value. Today Apple is number 1 in the brand value. Now question is how that brand value has got created, how much is just stored. And the moment you say brand value, it is intangible asset that has to be again depreciate, amortized, how that amortization is going to take place. So those are the various aspects related to expenditure. So ultimately it is assumed that whatever profit is there, profit is only after taking care of everyone's payment. Whomever and whatever the amount has to be paid, that has already been paid, and after that, that amount is coming up. That is called expenditure. Now I am concerned here that there are two different ways through which increasing the profit could be possible. One is by increasing the revenue, another by reducing the cost. Increasing the revenue may not necessarily always be available to you, depending upon market condition, competition and all other regulations. So what is left with you is that how you can manage your cost. Cost, how you can reduce it. One dimension already, cost accounting, you must be studying management accounting and cost accounting, where various cost dimensions are there, and an ultimate, in a final nut and net, it comes to finance, where cost has to be there. But our objective is how we can reduce those costs. And two aspects are there in reduction. One is operation aspects, and in operation aspects, one particularly is the working capital aspects. Operating cycle is from there. So what is the meaning of operating cycle? Meaning of operating cycle is, it is a period in which your fund is locked. Period in which fund is locked. How much is that period fund is locked? Longer the period, higher the cost. Simple meaning of it. Till the time your fund is locked, you are not getting, you are not receiving, you have a cost. And it may be having a direct cost when you have borrowed because of non-availability of fund, or it may have indirect cost or opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is the cost in which you should have earned. If suppose my receivable is there, someone is supposed to make payment, let's say 1 lakh rupees, someone is owing to me, have to make payment. If the person pays me today and I don't have anything to do with that money, I can park that money, I can make at least fixed deposit with that amount, say at 7% rate. So now 7% I am going to earn. 7% of 100,000 is going to be 7,000 rupees. That person doesn't pay me now. That person without any interest pays me after 1 year of time. Is actually snatched 7,000 rupees of opportunity of earning from me. Are you getting me? This is opportunity cost. So what is the best exercise is that? Quickest I should recover money. I am not charging you, but pay me in time. I am not asking you extra. And that is what the entire exercise is to start. So how your operating cycle is going to get counted? And mind it, it could be one of your MCQ. Today or tomorrow, whenever your exam is, I don't know. When you have finance? Tomorrow. So it is a phrase now, you can remember those things. So it is what it is, total amount is going to be there. So how much fund is going to be locked? One is could be locked into your entire inventory. When we say inventory, it could be raw material, it could be work in progress, it could be finished goods. 3 stocks are there. What is raw material stock, work in progress stock, and finished goods stock? 3. And fourth could be also there. That is the fourth component of inventory is spare parts. Spares are also there. So 4 components of inventories are there where your fund is locked. Now next is, you can call it, if, pardon? Inventory. Right now just inventory. I am using only one first term. So inventory could have 4 various components. What are those 4 components? First one is raw material, work in progress, finished goods, spare parts. Clear? Spares is also considered to be inventory only. And that is either it could be written one term only, inventory, plus now your, so fund is locked. I know in the part of management we discussed why not we can reduce this inventory requirement, inventory holding. Why you are buying a raw material if you are not consuming it now? Don't buy and store. But it depends on the industry condition, it depends on economic condition, it depends on the nature of raw material. If raw material is an agro product, then in that case it is depending on harvest. When the harvest is available at that point of time, you can take it. If it is an imported item, say you are importing chemical from abroad, let's say you are taking from Germany, now every month you will not take the import. So you will be taking a bulk import, and that's why you will be having a raw material storage. So ideally it is considered, don't procure the raw material if you don't require, but depending upon it is a function of, it is a subject to number of other factors. And taking other factors into account, you can decide what is going to be better option. Similarly, work in progress is there, how fast, how quick you can do the work. You can increase the frequency of the work. You can continuously keep on working, especially the bigger, longer period of gestations where it is involved, where work in progress is very high, costs are very high, and periods are also very high. Best example is construction industry. Your fund keeps on locking, and if fund keeps on locking, then in that case why not you can make it faster. You invited a construction activity and at 6 o'clock in the evening you closed, again next day 9 o'clock in the morning you will be starting. Your work in progress is actually stopped, in between time is consumed, and whatever it has already been invested, it is incurring a cost to you. Because cost is related to, fund cost is related to time. It is not related to your work, it is related to time. Time value is there. Keep on working accordingly. So if you suppose you continuously work on the night also, 24 hours working, you will find out your progress is very faster. Inventory utilization is better. Work in progress is really, really better. Whatever you can complete in say 12 months of time can get easily completed in 6 to 7 months of time. Within 7 months of time you can make it. So your period has been shrinked. Similarly, finished goods. Why you are preparing, why you are producing if you don't have a customer ready? So try to make sure that your customer is ready and then you produce. Then your FG will not be there, means finished goods storage will not be there. Your fund will not be locked. Faster it will go to customer and quickly recovery is going to take place. So inventory period should be reduced. Second is that cash and cash equivalents you were talking about, which is called receivables period. Can you reduce the receivable period? What is the receivable period? It is the quantum of money logged with customer after sales. When you are making a sales on credit basis, buy now, pay later, very thrilling exercise corporates appear. But the moment it is paying later, that period which is locked, your fund is locked. You are not going to earn out of it. So can it be reduced? See, best part is cash sales. Even better than that, you can say is advance payment on sales. You pay now, we will give you service, we will give you product afterward. Book it in advance. Money has come to me. We know some of the services which are very limited, lesser available, we book in advance and we feel proud booking in advance. For example, travel ticket, railway tickets, people know, they book in advance. You pay now after 3 months of travel without any extra interest on that. There is no discount available to you booking in advance. Right? You making the payment. Think of an organization who is receiving the payment in advance, giving the service afterward. So that could be the better, but it will not be always available. So what could be the second is that cash sales. But because of competition, because of that stand is not available where your product will be always in demand, you have to sell on credit. And when you are making sales on credit, then in that case your fund is going to be locked. For a number of days you are going to leave that money with the customer. It will have got two costs. Cost number one, your opportunity cost. Fund is locked with you. Second is, longer the period with the customer, there is a possibility customer will not pay, called bad debts. You must have created provision for bad debts. So bad debt possibility is also increasing. And third, if you put another cost is also there. If you try to get it in faster mode, you will have to make some offer called discount. Discount is there, cash discount. And these are the certain things which you have to understand. So your inventory period plus receivable period minus payable period. What is payable period? Payable period is when your supplier, your creditor has extended some period to you. Suppose your supplier has extended, okay, you take the supply material, raw material, let's say for 1,000 rupees and pay after 1 month of time. So you have taken the material now and you are going to pay after 1 month of time. That is period is available to you. So suppose your inventory period is 2 months, including raw material to finished goods. Inventory period is 2 months. Receivable period is another 1 month. 2 plus 1, 3 months. Minus payable period 1 month, making your operating cycle for 2 months. It could be bigger also. If 3 months is inventory period, 2 months is the receivable period, and 1 month is the payables period. So 3 plus 2 minus 1, making it 4 months. And for 4 months your fund is locked. And now what happens when your 4 months fund is locked? Then in that case, for making your payment in time, now you have not received the payment, your money has not come to you, and when your money has not come to you and you have to make payment, you have to borrow, and there overdraft, cash credit, and ultimately short-term borrowings comes into picture, which ought not to be. A better operating cycle, good working capital management can be easily tested whether organization needs short-term financing or not. If organization needs short-term financing, if organization is heavily dependent on the cash credit or overdraft, it means organization is not operationally efficient. At least working capital management is not efficient. I am giving you a simple signal. Look into their annual report. Go through their financings. Concentrate on their current liabilities details. And if you find out overdraft, you find out short-term financings, short-term borrowings by the organization, it simply indicates that organization is not managing their working capital efficiently. Simple meaning of it. Yes. Negative working capital will be possible only when you hardly have inventory. Say you are following just in time. which you will study in a production operation management, how to manage the just in time, which always, at least if you have been acquainted with the word, you must be knowing it is a smart word for a smart organization. Minimization of inventory requirement. Sailings only on cash or on advance, so there is no receivables. And that kind of organizations are always attractive for supplier also, who feels that these organizations' money will not go anywhere, so they will like to extend credit for a bigger period, so current liability will go up. And whatever cash in advance they will receive, they manage their cash also better. Then in that case, their working capital will go negative. That can be possible. It's a simple exercise is that whenever, whatever you require, if you have a better credit worthiness, you don't require too much of cash. People holding the credit card doesn't keep too much of cash in their pocket. It's a simple exercise is that if suppose we are going to have, say, in a city, we are residing in a metro, we are residing in Delhi, we are residing, we know most of the places we can use card. So how much cash you have in your pocket is not too much of botheration. And if cash is not in your pocket, I am assuming your cash is there, which is earning for you. Must be parked somewhere. Maybe in a saving account earning 3% interest. If it is not in your pocket. Because in your pocket, if it is there, it is not earning anything. Card, whatever amount, if you require to make payment 159, you will have to pay only 159. You will be withdrawing only 159, not more than that. But suppose you go to a remote place, backward place, where a lot of financial limitations are there, then in that case what will happen? You will have to carry cash. For making 159 payment, you will carry 200 at least with you. So there is an extra cost for you. This is what in corporates also it works. Now I have already answered 2 of the objective type questions. 2 marks complete. I am sure some who have been remembering and listening me carefully, tomorrow's 2 marks is there. You don't require to refer anywhere else. So listen very carefully. Next is now how to reduce this operating cycle because there is a cost. If suppose 4 months lock-in is there, as I take the example of 3 months inventory lock-in, 2 months receivable lock-in, and finally 1 month of the payable one, making 3 plus 2 minus 1, 4 months. And if your borrowing cost on an average is 12% per annum, for 4 months it is 4%. So 4% additional cost is going to be there to you related to cost of financing, and that additional cost will eat away your profit margin. कहाँ से आएगा वो पैसा? From profit margin. So what is really required? You have to be very, very clear how you are going to manage. So now let's look into that. Ultimately, your current asset has to be managed. How that current asset will be managed, have a look. There are various approaches. Now, by default, there will be different attributes or character of organization. First attribute is, what is that attribute? Someone could be very, very conservative. Someone could be very aggressive. And in between two is could be moderate. What do you mean by conservative one? Conservative one is always who is skeptical, susceptible, concerned, looking for more cash. Very afraid of. You require 1,000 rupees, you borrow 1,500 rupees. Why you are borrowing high? Because you are concerned that God knows what will happen. Some more money could be there. You must look into that, this conservativeness or having more money in the pocket, giving a different confidence is a cost. This psychology is right now very actively getting treated by the organization, and recently you must have seen, if you must have watched television and others, you must have seen Paytm's ad. Have you seen Paytm's ad? Giving some more money, instantly paying it. Not using only by parents, even Buaji and brother is also paying. Because psychology is that more money is a safer one. That is conservative approach. You require asset, current asset, especially raw material. You require raw material for certain quantum of money or amount, but you are buying, you are borrowing more, maybe in the name of safety stock. Whatever the explanation, whatever the support you are going to give, it is meant for conservativeness. What will happen if there will be a strike? What will happen? There will be a problem there will be a flood. You have seen, why not conserve that with you? And these kind of psychology, these kind of mindsets keep on making your safety stock higher. We are not discussing what is safety stock. We are discussing how much safety stock you are going to keep. So that's a one aspect which is actually you will look into conservative. What is that? In a shorter period, whatever sales is there, comparatively much higher current asset is going to be kept. Higher current assets you are keeping. It may lead to bankruptcy also, or one of the cause of bankruptcy. One example of, I'll share with you in automobile, long back, Dev was the company, Korean company. Even previously also I have mentioned this example. They lost the market. The quantum of so many other financial wrong decisions had been there. It is not only concern, it is not only one aspect which I am mentioning right now, but certainly this was also one of the fueling material, that lot of inventory they created without understanding how much inventory they can consume in a year time. And that inventory got consumed by acquirer company in 3 to 4 years of time. It is a complete nonsense to keep that much of inventory, that also finished goods inventory. What is finished goods inventory? Entire cost is locked. Yes or not? Entire cost is locked. It is not only raw material is locked, labor is also locked. Everything is locked there. And your fund is locked now, lying in that yard. That's a very wrong thing. A smart management is always how much to do and what to do and when to do. This 5WH is going to help you. What is 5WH? 5 questions starting from W, what, when, where, whom, and ultimately how. Process, which process should get adopted. And in any environment, whether it is finance, whether it is operation, any environment you apply these 5WH, you will find out you can get a better output. That is what related. So slowly I am going to give you now another hint related to one more question, and especially the final year question, means final exam question is also there. So listen very carefully. One question today, final exam question also, it is going to be discussed today itself. Listen carefully. So how to really work upon? Should it be conservative? Should it be aggressive? Or it should be moderate? Of course, ideal answer without any concern. If you are not a producer, you are a student, you will say, sir, moderate is good. Okay. But ultimately, depending upon the factors, your capability, what kind of production line you have got, what kind of capability you have got, what kind of market condition you have got, what is the nature of your raw material and procurement, what is the nature of finished goods which you are producing, what kind of customers are there, competitiveness in the market. These all are factors which is going to tell you. What is actual meaning of it? What is this aggressive or conservative? Look into that. If you talk about conservative one, conservative means, what is conservativeness? It's basically more safety. When we say we have a calculated quantum of money, what is that calculated quantum of money? Let's say we need 500 rupees. Easily with 500 rupees, we can come out. Yes or not? Go and come back to your home with 500 rupees. That's the total maximum calculated expenditure. You keep 1000 rupees. So that additional 500 is what? See, three demands are there. What is the need of money? And here money is whatever cash you are carrying. So first one is transaction demand. This is from economics, you must have read. Transaction demand for money, precaution demand for money, and a speculative demand for money. Three demand for money. Transaction demand, precaution demand, a speculative demand. Why you need transaction demand for money? Say transaction demand is there, that's why we need money. What precaution is there? There could be fluctuation. You don't know. Suppose you are driving bike, you require 200 rupees for your fuel, but God knows tire can get flat. You require 50, 60 rupees more. Something could be there, that precaution has to be maintained. Precautionary amount has to be there. So, transaction demand, precaution demand, and a speculative demand. What is a speculative demand? The money which normally a speculative demand is going to be used with the impulsive expenditure. Going to Connaught Place, maybe for some one purpose, but you found that one t-shirt is very, cheaply available. अब आ गए तो ले ही लेते हैं. That's the condition. You didn't had any kind of a plan to buy that. But you feel that if you buy in your nearby store, it may be of 500 rupees. Here it is available of 200 rupees. Same stuff. Why not buy it now when you have come? It is a speculation. So you might keep some extra money for these things also. Generally in a stock market it happens. Financial market is full of speculation. You are expecting some prices down. It is expected to move up, immediately put the money there. Right? That's the way you apply. Now you look into certain buckets are there. That buckets are filled. Line is up. You are maintaining higher. You can maintain on a lower side. You can maintain that lower line. But no, you are maintaining a higher line. Why you are maintaining on a higher line? Because certain periods you are going to have that extra requirement. And this question is always conditional. This question is always subjective. Who will keep how much? Especially this becomes very tough for the activity or unit, maybe a small unit, which has got certain seasonality. Seasonal factor. How production operation will take place? Say someone is air conditioner manufacturer. What will be happening? Listen very carefully. These examples are going to help you in writing. Because the question, as I mentioned now, final exam question also I am discussing with you. As question paper is already ready. So that's why I am discussing with you. Now, if a air conditioner manufacturer is there, or heater manufacturer is there, room heater, do you feel all January to December or April to March sales will be uniform? No. Not? No. And if sales is not going to be uniform, and it is more or less known in advance that sales will not be remaining uniform. So if sales will not be remaining uniform, how decision will be there related to production? How production should be made? Should it be made uniform, or it should be as per matching with the sales? It should not be uniform. Then how it should be? As per requirement. Okay. So let's. Very good. Point of time, period of time. So you want period of time, you want point of time. One by one. Let's have that effective one. Let him speak. He wants his presence recorded. Came late. Give him benefit. Yes. Please. पढ़ सकता है. So how to take a decision? I am more concerned with decision. Suppose in the month of December, I am able to sell only 2000 air conditioner, right? And in the month of June, I am able to sell 20,000 air conditioner. How my production will be there? नहीं, ये तो पास तो आपको बता रहे हैं, आप प्रोडक्शन कैसे प्लान करेंगे. मैं तो सेल्स का पीरियड बता रहा हूँ, एग्जैक्ट सेल्स भी बता दे रहा हूँ. हाउ यू विल प्लान? ओके, पीक पीरियड से पहले इन्वेंट्री होना चाहिए. माई कंसर्न इज राइट नाउ, एक्सक्यूज मी प्लीज, माई कंसर्न इज योर प्रोडक्शन ऑपरेशन. Operating exercise we are talking about. How you will define these things? These definitions will be depending upon if I make a capacity 2000 versus 20,000 I said. Should I have a capacity of 20,000 per month? No. How much capacity I should keep? 5,000. Optimal means what? And if you make 5,000, then 5,000 every month means every month in the sleek period you will have 3,000 of inventory.
So, sir, when you have the high demand in the market, you have to make your product ready in advance, 1 month or 2 months in your warehouses.
Or more than that, because it is 10 times demand is going to increase. So 10 times demand is going to increase. If you say 2 months of, I am taking 1 month or 2 months, you said I am taking 2 months of inventory. So 2,000 plus 2,000, 4,000 is going to be inventory. Or even if you say capacity of 5,000 production, 5,000 plus 5,000, 10,000 minus 2,000, 2,000 of a uniform sales of the select period is going to have 6,000 inventory. Suddenly,
when there is a high demand, we can operate our machine, factory or industry for 24 hours or in all.
very good, very good, very good. Just a minute, just a minute.
Work in a single shift.
You work in a single shift means your operating cost.
At that time, we can operate in all the 3 shifts.
Okay, okay, fine. So a various answer will be there. Of course, various practices are also there. You are convinced with his answer? What he is saying? Closer, why no one is listening?
And now the trend is also changing because previously companies used to stock the products, but due to the COVID outbreak, all the patterns are being changed in the market because the demands and supply got mismatched. Now what is happening from last 2-3 years, the weather conditions are not favorable. Sometimes there is this summer season is coming late, so there is a huge inventory pile up stock, and now they are taking very short-term decisions according to the market demand.
Okay, please. The question which I had asked you, if it is having a seasonal variation, and lot of products has got seasonal variations. Lot of seasonal variations are there. Now in that seasonal variation, how it is going to get applied? How you will be making that, what is the best operating level? How best production level is going to work? Very correct. But when you operation in uniform way require lot of space for storing it. How can we say like that? Storage is cheaper as compared to production. There could be another support to you also. Maybe at that point of time labor may not be sufficiently available, and there is always a kind of a bottleneck related to production capacity. Entire production operation will help you to decide how it is going to make. That is what needed. That's the way it has to apply. Anyway, my concern is, if this kind of question comes to you, you have to be carefully craft your answer. Your answer should be written which should be logically sound, and it should be having a flow, giving various dimensions. Uniform production is also good, as well as second important point is, when you, apart from uniform production, what is the most important aspect is, look into comparatively where the cost is going to be optimum or minimum. That cost aspect I am going to talk. We will make a multi-column alternates, and that multi-column alternates has to be specified, right? That multi-column alternates will decide about which column is going to give you minimal cost. What kind of, it should be 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. Or can we blend the two kind of, we can increase the capacity and we can have the economies of a scope. What is economies of a scope? Economies of a scope will talk about that when there is a winter, we will focus on air conditioner. When there will be summer, when there will be summer, we will focus on air conditioner, and when there will be winter, we will focus on heating devices. Instead of economies of a scale, we can make economies of a scope. We can decide about what kind of variety combinations could be there, diversification could be there, which will give you good strength. And this become challenge for some good organization like your power generation company also, it has got a challenge. We are talking about only manufacturing one. Right now NHPC or NTPC is facing this problem because of erratic condition of the atmosphere. Demand and supply is fluctuating like anything. Very different one. Suddenly 3 days because of heavy rain, it even fan is going to be off, and then in another 2 days all air conditioner is on. Now look into the kind of a daily basis of it, and it is very tough to store those generated electricity. So if you are working about a power generation company, what kind of a suggestions you will bring? Because finance is meant for everyone. How you are going to decide about it? So these are the certain graphs which is already there in your study material. You can have a look of it and you can go through. Look into the changes when you go for aggressive one.
Sir, मेरा एक question है, can I ask?
Yeah, please.
जो discuss किया आपने, this topic relates to the corporate finance or management accounting or economics?
This topic, see, you are studying the subject as a spare parts. It's an assemble line concept, applicable to everyone. Sir, finance is a kind of intangible pseudo concept. Understand that. It brings concept, it brings filter from everywhere, every sides.
Question कैसे आ सकता है? जो अभी आपने हमें समझाया डिटेल, question कैसे आ सकता है?
What do you mean by operating cycle? What kind of various approaches could be there for making an efficient operating cycle? Now you are free to write. That's why I am saying you are free to write. करना है आप कैसे? मैं कहता हूं कि आपका देखिए, आप एक बनाए, एक आप सपोज कीजिए एक सिंपल सा कंस्ट्रक्शन की बात कर रहे हैं जो इजिली विजिबल है. आपको मैंने कहा एक 2 बेडरूम का फ्लैट बना दीजिए मेरा. आपने मुझे बजट बना के दे दिया 2 बेडरूम का फ्लैट, एक गिवन स्पेसिफिकेशन का कि 40 लाख रुपीज लूंगा, बना दूंगा, राइट? अब मैं कह रहा हूं सर 40 लाख रुपीज में तो नहीं, स्पेसिफिकेशन तो यही रखिए, लेकिन इसको 34 लाख में कंप्लीट कर दीजिए या 32 लाख में कंप्लीट कर दीजिए. नाउ इट इज अ चैलेंज टू यू. आपने 40 लाख कुछ एस्टिमेट निकाल के किया होगा बिना किसी क्वालिटी कॉम्प्रोमाइज का. अब आपको इसको 32 लाख का करना है, कैसे करेंगे आप? हाउ यू विल मेक इट? मान के चलिए क्वालिटी से कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं कर रहे हैं आप, जो स्पेसिफिकेशन है वही स्पेसिफिकेशन आप देंगे, लेकिन अब आपको 32 लाख में करना है काम. और सपोज कीजिए 2 लाख रुपया या 3 लाख रुपया, 4 लाख रुपया आप अपने प्रॉफिट मार्जिन के लिए रखे थे. 40 लाख में आप 4 लाख आपका था जो वर्किंग था. ऑफकोर्स जब काम करेंगे तो आप वर्क करेंगे, चार्ज करेंगे, उसका प्रॉफिट मार्जिन है, इंक्लूसिव है. अब 36 लाख के आसपास का कॉस्ट आपने बना रखा था, अब उसको घटा के 32 पे लाना है और अपने लिए 4 लाख भी निकालना है, और कम क्वालिटी को भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं करना है. How you will make it? This is a finance question, but without using your operating skills, Without making the entire tentative exercise, how you will make it? So finance takes it from everywhere. इसीलिए आप कभी इकोनॉमिक स्टेटमेंट नहीं पढ़ते, आप कभी भी स्टैटिस्टिकल स्टेटमेंट नहीं पढ़ते, आप कभी भी ऑपरेशनल स्टेटमेंट नहीं पढ़ते, आप ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट पढ़ते हैं। एनुअल रिपोर्ट फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट है। जैसे आप सब्जेक्ट आपका हिस्ट्री हो सकता है, सब्जेक्ट आपका ज्योग्राफी हो सकता है, लेकिन रिजल्ट रिजल्ट है। फाइनेंस इज दैट रिजल्ट। मार्कशीट है फाइनेंस। तो मार्कशीट को सुधारना है तो मार्कशीट पे ओवर राइटिंग नहीं करनी है, राइटिंग कहीं और करनी है। दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज एक्सप्लेनिंग यू फ्रॉम वेयर एंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन यू विल बी एबल टू मेक इट। अगर होटल इंडस्ट्री की बात कर रहे हैं, हॉस्पिटलिटी की बात कर रहे हैं, उसका अप्रोच अलग होगा। अगर हेल्थ सेक्टर की बात कर रहे हैं, अप्रोच अलग होगा। वहां कोई चिंता ही नहीं है जहां कस्टमर लाइन से आके खड़े हैं। एवरी डे मॉर्निंग क्यू इज देयर, even if you have got Apollo, Batra or any kind of a high-end paying hospital, वहाँ जहाँ लाइन लगा हुआ है वहाँ कस्टमर का कोई चिंता ही नहीं है। Think of an organization where customer is not there. तो ये अलग अलग पैटर्न होगा। फाइनेंस तो सब में है सर, कॉस्ट सब में है।
नहीं, यदि ये क्वेश्चन कॉर्पोरेट फाइनेंस में आ जाता है तो हमें इन्वेंट्री का, प्रोडक्शन का जो साइकिल है वो तो नहीं देना ना।
लिखा हुआ है, look into study material. You are asking because you have not seen study material. Look into that. You have to give those explanations also. लेकिन उसका डिटेल नहीं देना है। You have to talk about it. I'll be explaining you afterward. Look into how it is going to work. Two important aspects. What do you have to view? First one is risk-return trade-off. Now, when you are talking about working capital, risk-return is going to be there. Risk-return I have already explained you. I think third session, third class was there on the return risk only, including calculation of standard deviation. What is this risk-return trade-off? How it is going to be there? I have already explained you liquidity versus profitability. How much is too much in your pocket? That's a question every day you can ask yourself. How much money you should be keeping in your wallet? In your wallet, whatever your amount is going to be there, your wallet, how much is keeping, that much your opportunity to earn profit is going to be away. You are not going to earn. So you look into, you compare the two, that decides about it. So various financial instruments, various financial tools is going to work on that. Next is short-term financing versus long-term financing. Money is needed. We have come to a conclusion, we require the fund. Should we borrow at short-term basis or should we borrow at long-term basis? How we should decide about it. And that will be better explained through various relative impact by borrowing at a different level, by borrowing at a short-term or long-term basis. What is your perception? Because by that time, you must be aware of what ought to be, how it has to be decided. What do you feel? Short-term is good or long-term is good? What should be the right approach? Short-term financing to finance the working capital or long-term financing to finance the working capital is going to be good. Maybe MCQ question. MCQ will not depend on that, it requires clarity. That's a difference. जब ऑप्शन के बेस better even for MCQ, it is essential that your concept should be clear. Otherwise, option will be always overlapping in nature. Okay? And उसके बाद होगा कि सर हमने तो सब आंसर सही किया था, मेरा मार्क्स सही नहीं आया. Right? तो वो चीज़ नहीं होनी चाहिए. Please, how you are going to make it short term versus long term, have a look of the numerical exercise to decide. Listen very carefully, please. There is a small snapshot of balance sheet of an organization. If you minutely, you'll find out asset and liability has been given. If you view sources of financing, 7 lakh is from long term and 1 lakh is from short term. Total 8 lakhs of the financing is there. Balance sheet is supposed to be balanced. So you find out here, non-current asset is 6 lakhs, current asset is 2 lakhs. So you have 2 lakhs rupees current asset, 1 lakh rupees current liability, current ratio is 2. Net working capital is 1 lakh. Current ratio is 2. Current asset upon current liability. Net working capital is 1 lakh. Why these information required? These information will be actually the part of your answer. This is the relationship we are going to measure. So it's a 6 lakhs plus 2 lakhs. 8 lakh rupees is your asset. 6 lakh is non-current asset. Timing we are not concerned. We are concerned only for current asset. We are discussing of working capital. Similarly, current liability, we are discussing this. Now there is certain questions. One information has already been shared with you, that the firm is earning 11% return on non-current assets and 2.5% return on current asset. So return is varying. I am repeating, non-current asset return is 11% and 2.5% is return on current asset. Find out the effect on liquidity and profitability of the firm in the following cases. Increase in current asset by 30%, decrease in current asset by 30%. If current asset is increased or decreased, how it is going to work? Question is very simple. What you will do, how you will start? At least I am giving you 2-3 minutes of time so that you start thinking. My next slide is solution. So I'll go to next slide. But before that, you start working so that you can have question, you can discuss with me. Please do. Quickly. Use abbreviation. Don't use complete terms, so save time. Calculate. At least few who are really sincerely want to do. माइक काम नहीं कर रहा है. I'll tell you very simple way to do it. You make one column which is already existing one. Make another column where you increase 30% of your current asset. Make another column where you decrease your 30% of your current assets. Make 3 columns. Okay. So the moment you will make it, so your current asset will vary. Now variation of current asset has to be financed. When there will be increase in current asset, there has to be financing. लाइबिलिटी भी चेंज करेगा और लाइबिलिटी आपको चेंज करना है. अब ये पार्ट ऑफ आंसर हो जाएगा. लाइबिलिटी चेंज की बात नहीं बताई गई है. लाइबिलिटी तो बदलना ही है ना. बैलेंस शीट तो बैलेंस रहेगा. राइट और नॉट? तो आपको एसेट चेंज कर दिया करस्पॉन्डिंगली मैं कह रहा हूँ 1 लाख की जगह आप 1.5 लाख का सामान खरीद रहे हो, तो 1 लाख का तो फंडिंग था आपके पास, तो 1.5 लाख की फंडिंग कहाँ से आई, और 50,000 एक्स्ट्रा कहाँ से आया, लॉन्ग टर्म लिया, शॉर्ट टर्म लिया, राइट। दैट्स द अप्रोच ऑफ द क्वेश्चन। क्वेश्चन में साइलेंस है। क्या क्वेश्चन कह रहा है? फाइंड आउट द इफेक्ट ऑन लिक्विडिटी एंड प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी ऑफ द फर्म इन द फॉलोइंग केसेस, दिस हैज बीन देयर। इसने कहा ही नहीं कि आप लॉन्ग टर्म में फाइनेंसिंग करो या शॉर्ट टर्म में फाइनेंसिंग करो, इसने नहीं कहा है। अब लेकिन फाइनेंसिंग तो करना ही पड़ेगा। ऐसा हो नहीं सकता है कि आप बड़ा खरीद रहे हो, आप एक्स्ट्रा कर रहे हो, करेंट एसेट और फाइनेंस ना हो, ऐसा तो होगा नहीं। उसी तरह करंट लायबिलिटी, अगर करंट एसेट अगर कम हो गया है तो करंट एसेट कम होगा तो आपकी थोड़ी सी फंड रिलीज हो जाएगी, तो रिलीज कहाँ जाएगा, कैसे फंड आपका चेंज करेगा, दैट इज व्हाट यू रिक्वायर टू डू। क्लियर? तो आंसर देखें या किसी का आंसर रेडी हो गया है? इट्स वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन, 2-3 नंबर से ज़्यादा का नहीं है, इससे ज़्यादा का नहीं है। So have a look of answer also. I don't know whether it is, to what extent it is visible. मेरे ख्याल से वो वाला ज़्यादा क्लैरिटी के साथ visible है। Still, since you all have already started your work, so it is now easy for you to understand. What is the view? Have a look here. Initial information, the very after particulars, the first second column you can say is what question is there. Second column you find out. Please maintain silence on the back side. Excuse me. See here, current asset 200,000, non-current asset 600,000, making it total 800,000, 8 lakh rupees. First 2 row is directly from the question in your first information column, not in particular column. Now you look into, you say you are going to have a return in the current asset at 2.5%. 2.5% on what? 2 lakhs, making it 5,000. Similarly, there is a 11% return, and that 11% return on the non-current asset. So on 6 lakhs it is what? 66,000. ये रिटर्न है जो आपका भी एग्जिस्टिंग है. We are not changing right now. First information column we are not changing. Existing one. Existing is how much? 6 lakh is your non-current asset, fixed asset. और fixed asset पे 11% का रिटर्न. तो इसका मतलब 6 लाख रुपीस पे 11%, that is 6600 का रिटर्न. क्लियर? राइट? दिया हुआ है ना? सॉरी 66,000 का रिटर्न. 66,000 का रिटर्न हो गया, 11% का रिटर्न है. और दूसरी तरफ जो करंट एसेट है, हाउ मच इज योर करंट एसेट? 2 लाख. 2 लाख पे 2.5% का रिटर्न कितना हो जाएगा? 5,000. तो 66,000 प्लस 5,000 टोटल रिटर्न आपका कितना हो गया? 71,000. तो इसका मतलब अभी चेंज नहीं किया हमने, अभी कुछ चेंज नहीं हुआ है. एग्जिस्टिंग में आपको 71,000 रुपीज का रिटर्न है. क्लियर? अब चेंज करेंगे किसको? क्या चेंज करने के लिए कहा गया है? करंट एसेट. नेक्स्ट कॉलम में करंट एसेट क्या करेंगे? 30% इंक्रीज करेंगे. नेक्स्ट कॉलम में करंट एसेट 30% इंक्रीज करेंगे. देखिए करंट एसेट कितना है आपका? 2 लैक्स. इंक्रीज कर दीजिए 30%, 2,60,000. तो 2,60,000 का हो गया आपका करंट एसेट्स. और जो नॉन करंट एसेट है उसको चेंज नहीं कर रहे हैं, सिर्फ करंट एसेट चेंज कर रहे हैं. तो नॉन करंट एसेट तो 6 लैक्स रहेगा, तो उसका जो रिटर्न होगा 11% के रेट से 66,000 बना रहेगा. लेकिन अब आपका करंट एसेट जो है वो 2,60,000 का हो गया. तो 2,60,000 पे 2.5% आपका आएगा रिटर्न. तो वो कितना अमाउंट आ रहा है आपका? 6,500. ठीक है, 30% इंक्रीज किया ना। आप ऐसे भी सोचो ना, 5000 का आपका रिटर्न पहले था, 30% उसको बढ़ा दो आप, 6500 हो गया, 6500। तो अब रिजल्ट क्या हुआ, 6500। तो पहले था 66,000 प्लस 5,000 मेकिंग इट 71,000 टोटल रिटर्न। नाउ इट इज गोइंग टू बी 66,000 प्लस 6,500 मेकिंग इट 72,500, 1,500 का रिटर्न। बड़ा सिंपल सा है, आप कैलकुलेट करके आप ऊपर चला गया, राइट। अब इसके बाद आप देखिए नेक्स्ट में क्या हो रहा है, आप रिड्यूस कर रहे हैं। जो करंट एसेट आपका 2 लाख था, उसमें से 30% रिड्यूस कीजिए, 140 हो गया। अब 140 हो गया तो आपका रिटर्न 140 पे मिलेगा, तो 3,500, मतलब 1,500 घट गया 5,000 से, 3,500, 66,000 इंटैक्ट है, तो 66,000 प्लस 3,500 मेकिंग इट 69,500। तो आपका 71,000, 2,500, 69,500, 3 प्रॉफिट हो गया। क्लियर कट है कि करंट एसेट बढ़ाने से आपका एसेट पे अगर रिटर्न है तो रिटर्न बढ़ेगा। और करंट लायबिलिटी अब आप देख रहे हैं कि क्या करने जा रहे हैं इसमें, हाउ मच यू रिक्वायर टू फंड, कम टू द पॉइंट हियर, करंट लायबिलिटी वर्सेस जो एक्चुअल अनदर क्वेश्चन ऑफ फाइनेंसिंग की है, एंड देन आफ्टर दैट वी विल गो फॉर रेशियो कैलकुलेशन। सो इट सेज दैट आपका ये टोटल रिटर्न का जो रो है, टोटल रिटर्न रो 71,000, 72,500 and 69,500 is clear. Now we will go to next. It says current liability is your 100,000, 160,000, 40,000. What it mean? Excuse me. It means that whatever current asset changes is there is getting financed from current liability, that is short term financing. लॉन्ग टर्म की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, किसकी फाइनेंसिंग ले रहे हैं, शॉर्ट टर्म फाइनेंसिंग कर रहे हैं। शॉर्ट टर्म फाइनेंसिंग में क्या हो गया, आपको 2 लाख का एसेट था, करंट एसेट। दिस इज द फाइनल explanation I am going to give you. 2 lakh rupees of current asset, then get financed 1 lakh rupees from your current liability. It means it has got financed 1 lakh from long term liability. That is your standing one. यही है ना, 2 लाख का करंट एसेट है, 2 लाख के करंट एसेट में 1 लाख करंट लायबिलिटी से आ रहा है। क्लियर? डिफिनीशन याद कीजिए नेटवर्किंग कैपिटल का। व्हाट इज नेटवर्किंग कैपिटल? करंट एसेट माइनस करंट लायबिलिटी। वेरी गुड। तो करंट एसेट 2 lakhs माइनस करंट लायबिलिटी 1 lakh इज हाउ मच नेटवर्किंग कैपिटल? 1 lakh। कहां से 1 lakh आ रहा है? नेटवर्किंग कैपिटल इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज वर्किंग कैपिटल मार्जिन which get financed from long term financing. So by default 1 lakh rupees is coming from long term. वो जो 6 lakhs है, 6 lakhs में ही तो 1 lakh आ रहा होगा ना, राइट? या 7 lakhs है, कितना है? 7 lakhs है। देखो आप ऐसे भी आप देखो, क्वेश्चन पे चले जाओ वापस, क्वेश्चन पे जाके गौर से देखो आप, तो आपका नॉन करेंट एसेट कितना है? 6 lakhs। और लॉन्ग टर्म लायबिलिटी कितनी है? 7 lakhs है। मीनिंग क्लियर है कि 7 lakhs में 6 लाख एसेट में जा रहा है, लॉन्ग टर्म एसेट में जा रहा है, और 1 लाख जा रहा है करंट एसेट में। क्लियर? क्वेश्चन से भी क्लियर है, उस कैलकुलेशन से भी क्लियर है। अब आप क्या कर रहे हो कि आप लॉन्ग टर्म की फाइनेंसिंग को नहीं बढ़ा रहे। क्लियर? बढ़ा किसको रहे हैं? शॉर्ट टर्म की फाइनेंसिंग। शॉर्ट टर्म फाइनेंसिंग पहले कितना था? 1 लाख। अब आपको करंट एसेट 2 lakhs में 1 लाख शॉर्ट टर्म फाइनेंसिंग से आ रहा था, करंट एसेट 2 लाख से बढ़ के 2,60,000 हो गया। तो कितना एक्स्ट्रा आपको फाइनेंसिंग चाहिए? 60,000। वो 60,000 कहां से ला रहे हैं? करंट लायबिलिटी से 60,000 ला रहे हैं। तो आपका न्यू करंट लायबिलिटी क्या हो जाएगा? 1,60,000। यही लिखा हुआ है, न्यू करंट लायबिलिटी 1,60,000। क्लियर? अब जब करंट लायबिलिटी के साथ ही हम एडजस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं, तो आपका सडनली क्या रिक्वायरमेंट घट गया? किसका? करंट एसेट का रिक्वायरमेंट। करंट एसेट का रिक्वायरमेंट अब कितना रह गया? 1,40,000। यही है ना, अब घटा दिए 30%, तो 1,40,000। मैं लॉन्ग टर्म फाइनेंसिंग को डिस्टर्ब नहीं कर रहा हूं, तो 1,40,000 में 1 लाख कहां से आ रहा है? लॉन्ग टर्म से। तो बचा हुआ 40,000 ही तो करंट लाइबिलिटी से चाहिए, तो 40,000 करंट लाइबिलिटी से आ गया। इज इट क्लियर? अब आप देखिए, एक गिवन सिनेरियो है, प्लीज, एक गिवन सिनेरियो है। यस, एक गिवन सिनेरियो ये है कि आपके पास 2 लाख का करंट एसेट है, 1 लाख की करंट लाइबिलिटी है, करंट रेशियो 2 है, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी भी आपके पास काउंटेड है। अब आप चेंज कर रहे हो, 30% करंट एसेट इंक्रीज किया, 30% करंट एसेट डिक्रीज किया। अब ये दोनों कंडीशन में करंट लाइबिलिटी को फ्लक्चुएट कर रहे हैं। दैट करंट लाइबिलिटी is ultimately going to give you a impact on the ratio also and impact on the profitability as well. प्रॉफिट में भी फर्क पड़ रहा है। कैसे फर्क पड़ रहा है आप देखिए, काउंट कीजिए आप इसको। पहले हम रेशियो देख लेते हैं एक बार। रेशियो क्या होता है? व्हाट इज करंट रेशियो? करंट एसेट अपॉन करंट लाइबिलिटी। पहला केस तो मैं बता दिया, 2 लाख अपॉन 1 लाख, दैट इज 2। दूसरा केस क्या हो गया? 2,60,000 अपॉन 1,60,000। करंट रेशियो क्या हो गया? बढ़ा है या घटा है? कम हो गया। कितना हो गया? 1.625। करके भी चेक कर लीजिए, कैलकुलेट कर लीजिए। इसका मतलब हुआ कि आपकी फाइनेंसिंग हो रही है, करंट रेशियो रिड्यूस कर रहा है। और तीसरे केस में क्या हो गया? बढ़ गया, 3.5 हो गया। लेसर करंट लायबिलिटी। क्लियर? अब इसके बाद एक और चीज इसमें देखिए, जो नेक्स्ट रिटर्न एज ए परसेंटेज ऑफ टोटल एसेट। व्हाई आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट रिटर्न ऑन अ परसेंटेज ऑफ टोटल एसेट? Because that is called efficiency ratio. Whenever you have a sales on the top and denominator has got certain part, it has got efficiency of that part. अगर आप नेट सेल्स अपॉन करंट एसेट लेंगे तो करंट एसेट एफिशिएंसी काउंट होगा। नेट सेल्स अपॉन अगर फिक्स एसेट ले लीजिए तो फिक्स एसेट एफिशिएंसी काउंट होगी। अगर नेट सेल्स अपॉन टोटल एसेट ले लेंगे, टोटल एसेट एफिशिएंसी काउंट होता है। क्लियर? ये इफिशिएंसी को मेजर कर रहा है। टर्नओवर कहते हैं इसको, टर्नओवर रेशियो। इट इज टोटल एसेट टर्नओवर रेशियो, TATR। अब टोटल एसेट टर्नओवर रेशियो, मान लीजिए क्वेश्चन आप पे डायरेक्टली पूछ दिया गया न्यूमेरिकली, व्हाट विल बी द इंपैक्ट ऑन इफिशिएंसी ऑफ अ कंपनी बाय मेकिंग इट फाइनेंस फ्रॉम दैट। क्वेश्चन बड़ा सिंपल सा, प्लेन सा, एक लाइन दे दिया गया। आपको इफिशिएंसी न्यूमेरिकली प्रूव करना है। क्लियर? क्या इफिशिएंसी इंक्रीज कर रही है? टोटल एसेट टर्नओवर रेशियो। देखिए गौर से, अगर करंट एसेट से फाइनेंसिंग कर रहे हैं, सबसे पहले आपका जो रिटर्न है, आपका जो अवेलेबल रिटर्न है वो 8.88% है। टोटल एसेट टर्नओवर इज हाउ मच इट इज एक्चुअली कमिंग, दैट 8.88%। whereas when it goes, now your current ratio has reduced but your return has come down 8.43%. 8.43%. Whereas when it has gone down, your current asset requirement has gone down without affecting anything else, then in that case you will find out it has return efficiency has gone up. Lesser the current asset, more the efficient organization will be there in terms of profitability. I am repeating the statement. Lesser the current asset, more efficiency will be there to the organization, which is actually heading towards just in time. This is what numerically proved here. And this illustration you don't require to record because it is there in your SLM, directly taken from SLM. Okay? So now question is very simple. How we have to have it? you can recheck it, redo it. I am now, what is not there in SLM, I am moving to that level for your better understanding and maybe for better explanation. When we have calculated this, after this calculation, it goes to a stage, if instead of disturbing current liability, can we talk about long-term liability? Can we finance long-term liability? And then we can cross-check if we get financing from long-term liability, what kind of profitability impact will be there on the organization in the case of when current asset has increased, in the case where current asset has decreased. Financing from long-term. But again, philosophically, you have to be very sound why you are going to have current asset fluctuation financed from the long-term financing. Second, more complicated question, if suppose your cost of financing is also having a set information, means at what rate your long-term financing is coming and at what rate your short-term financing is coming, that has to be decided. Which one is costlier, long-term financing or short-term financing? Which one is costlier, long-term financing or short-term financing? Long-term is more costlier than short-term. Is it clear? Long-term is more costlier than short-term in a normal condition. Why so? Why? मैंने अभी शेयर की बात नहीं की, अभी सिर्फ बोरोइंग की बात की है. लॉन्ग टर्म बोरोइंग वर्सेस शॉर्ट टर्म बोरोइंग्स. रिस्क ज़्यादा होता है, पीरियड जैसे जैसे इंक्रीज करता है रिस्क ज़्यादा होता है. बट ध्यान रखिएगा इसमें, ये जो इंपॉर्टेंट इंफॉर्मेशन है, ये इंफॉर्मेशन इतना स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड आंसर नहीं है. गिवन अदर थिंग्स कांस्टेंट and your term structure is going to be normal, then only this is going to be correct. Is it clear? मतलब इन्फ्लेशन हाई होने वाला नहीं है, जो नॉर्मल है, आने वाला पीरियड सब कुछ है, तो सिंपली पीरियड का जो कॉस्ट होगा उसको रिस्क में कन्वर्ट करके लॉन्ग टर्म कॉस्टली हो जाएगा. लेकिन अगर इन्फ्लेशन अभी बहुत हाई हो, ध्यान दीजिएगा, इन्फ्लेशन अभी बहुत हाई हो और बाद में उम्मीद है इन्फ्लेशन डाउन हो जाएगा, टर्म स्ट्रक्चर डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग होगा, तब उस केस में उल्टा होगा. इसीलिए आप कई बार देखे होंगे कुछ साल पहले तक में कि अगर आप 400 डेज तक के लिए या 1 ईयर तक के लिए डिपॉजिट करते तो इंटरेस्ट रेट बढ़ा था और उसके बाद सडनली इंटरेस्ट रेट कम हो गया था. एक हाइपरबोला की तरह आपका कर्व स्ट्रक्चर आ रहा था फाइनेंस में. इज इट क्लियर? तो इसलिए यहां भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आगे आने वाला, दैट इज बेसिकली कॉल्ड इंटरेस्ट रेट फोरकास्टिंग. 2 जगह पढ़े होंगे, या अभी आप मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ रहे होंगे तो पढ़े होंगे आप इंटरेस्ट रेट फोरकास्टिंग. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर है और जितना आप इंटरेस्ट रेट फोरकास्टिंग इकोनॉमिक्स में पढ़े हैं उससे कहीं उसका 10 टाइम्स आपको एप्लीकेशन बाद में आएगा, क्योंकि इसी इंटरेस्ट रेट फोरकास्टिंग के बेसिस पे आपको पूरा का पूरा इंटरेस्ट रेट डिटर्मिनेशन होता है. और इतना ही नहीं, 2 करेंसी के बीच में एक्सचेंज रेट डिफाइन होता है. जो इंटरेस्ट रेट पैरिटी थ्योरम, आईआरपी थ्योरम वर्क करता है. तो जो आपने मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स में अभी जो आप पढ़ रहे हैं, सिर्फ एग्जाम देके भूल मत जाइएगा, इसको इससे मैग्नीफाइड वे में जरूरत पड़ेगी बाद में. क्लियर? तो अब आप इस तरीके से देख सकते हैं कि कैसे इंपैक्ट पड़ता है एंड हाउ दैट इंपैक्ट इज गोइंग टू मेक यू क्लियर. आई एम फाइनली कंक्लूडिंग वर्किंग कैपिटल हियर एट दिस पॉइंट. वर्किंग कैपिटल इज कंप्लीट. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन यू आर वेलकम. बताइए.
जैसे राइस इंडस्ट्री का 5 दिन पहले डिमर्जर किया उसने क्या किया कि 1 शेयर उस कंपनी का सब किसी शेयर होल्डर का 1 शेयर दे दिया. डिविडेंड उसने डिक्लेयर कर दिया, 1 शेयर के ऊपर 9 रुपये का डिक्लेयर कर दिया. उसके बाद कंपनी लॉस में चली गई, उसने लॉस कर दिया कम 1000 करोड़ का. एक चीज. दूसरी चीज क्या है कि ये कंपनी के लिए कितना बेनिफिट रहा था रिलायंस के लिए 1 शेयर देना, डिविडेंड देना और फिर लॉस में जाना. इसके ऊपर मेरे
थोड़ा सा ये
वन थिंग आई वांट टू नो कि बुक वैल्यू उसने दी 256 रुपए की और अदरवाइज जो एक्सपर्ट कह रहे हैं वो इट इज नॉट एक्सीडिंग मोर देन 170 रुपीस.
वैल्यूएशन इज अ वेरी सब्जेक्टिव वन. ये जो आपका कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, दो अलग अलग पॉइंट पे जाके क्लियर होगा।
मेरे को डिविडेंड पॉलिसी के ऊपर थोड़ा सा ख्याल करना है कि उसने एक दिन तो डिक्लेयर डीमर्ज कर दिया, 1 मंथ शेयर अलॉट कर दिया और 10 रुपए के ऊपर 9 रुपए, 10 रुपए के शेयर के ऊपर 9 रुपए उसने डिविडेंड दे दिया। और सेकेंडली क्या हुआ, कंपनी अगले दिन वो शो उसी दिन शो कर दिया कि सम करोड़ लॉस।
देखिए वो लॉस का पहले सोर्स देखना पड़ेगा। सेकेंड, ये जो क्वेश्चन आपका दो अलग अलग पार्ट का क्वेश्चन है। वन इज रिलेटेड टू वैल्यूएशन, जो आपने दूसरा वाला पोर्शन पूछा, वेदर इट इज 256 वर्सेज 170 और जो भी है, वैल्यूएशन इज हाईली सब्जेक्टिव इन नेचर and this is what it is. Corporate restructuring is there. Sometime that demerger or splitting of the shares or issuing bonus shares or giving excess dividend, these all are actually to derive some other benefit rather than only from a monetary benefit aspect of it. Because any dividend which is distributed is not depending on only the component of dividend. It is depending upon what kind of company philosophy is there, what kind of fund transfer company is trying to make it. So what is this is basically part of a strategic finance or corporate restructuring. So from there it will be explained to you. You have all these papers, specific papers, there in detail it will be discussed.
ये कुछ फैक्ट्स है, मान लीजिए कल कोई केस स्टडी में ऐसा ही दे दे कि जो
ये अभी का नहीं है केस आपका, ये ऐसा भी केस नहीं आएगा आपको ये केस आपका अभी फाइनेंस तो थर्ड सेमेस्टर में जो स्पेशलाइजेशन में वो पेपर अगर आप लेंगे तब वहाँ जाएंगे। ठीक है, न्यूज़ तो समूचा रहेगा ही ना।
पॉलिसी अभी 2 लाख में पड़ा है, तो इसलिए हमने पूछा कि वो
Dividend policy, it's basically depending upon whether you want to pay dividend or not. Why you should pay dividend, that is dividend policy. When final day class will be there, final day class I'll be briefing all those and I'll be making a sum of things only focused to examinations. So that's why it is nothing to do with the working capital as such.
I'm not talking about the working capital, मैं तो आपके फाइनेंशियल यानी इसके ऊपर न्यूज़
हाँ नहीं ठीक है, that is basic.
डिविडेंड पॉलिसी बिकॉज लास्ट टाइम इट हैज बीन टॉट और मैंने पूछा कि कंपनी लॉस में जा रही है, 10 रुपए कंपनी ने लॉस डिक्लेयर किया और 9 रुपए का डिविडेंड शेयर पर दे रही है।
कर सकती है कंपनी, कर सकती है, क्योंकि उसमें एक्चुअली कंपनी डिविडेंड कहाँ से दे सकती है, तो कंपनी डिविडेंड प्रॉफिट से दे सकती है, कंपनी डिविडेंड रिटेन अर्निंग से दे सकती है, कंपनी डिविडेंड इवन प्रीमियम से दे सकती है। कंपनी हैज़ गॉट द एबिलिटी टू पे, बट ए क्वेश्चन इज क्यों पे करेगी? $1 million क्वेश्चन इज व्हाई कंपनी विल डू दिस. सो दैट मीन्स दिस, दैट्स व्हाई may not be necessarily, it may be coming from a strategic one. Some strategy has to be there. Company may right now doing something with the view to keep some long-term benefit. Company can do anything of that nature. Subject to that, it should be in the legal framework. Whatever company law permits, it should be within that. And if company law permits, I can do that exercise. Okay, that is what it's a very important is. Now question is 10 rupees, 10 rupees shares, 9 rupees dividend. It's a 90% dividend. But is it 9 rupees which is coming on 10 rupees or it is coming on the price at which the buyer has bought it? So it is not the dividend percentage, it is the yield which becomes important. हाँ, हो सकता है 2% मिल रहा हो किसी को। 9 रुपीज़ अगर आप 200 रुपये में आप खरीद रहे हैं तो 4.5% हुआ। आपने शेयर खरीदा 200 रुपये का, हाँ तो अब आप तो 2500 में अगर 2000 रुपीज़ पे 9 रुपीज़ मिल रहा है तो आप परसेंटेज काउंट कर लीजिए। That you have to read it, annual report, which the first semester we were talking about, and I had suggested that when you go for qualitative discussion, look into what chairman's message is there. तो chairman's message आएगा ना, and management discussion, 2 पार्ट बताए थे ना, याद होगा qualitative discussions में, तो that aspect you have to go through. So they themselves will explain you.
The loss he is saying, the loss is compared to last quarter. Company is not in loss. The earnings are less than last quarter.
So that is not a loss now.
Yeah, that is not a loss. That is quarter-wise.
You go through with the management discussion in the annual report, it will be completely explained. A quarterly report तो आएगा ही ना, quarterly report देख लीजिए, it will be giving you. Let's come to the another point called cash management. Any other question related to working capital? Working capital complete, working capital 1 question. 2 questions in the MCQ, 1 question in the final examination, making it so 2 plus around 12-13 marks. So approximately closer to 15 marks is over right now. look into that. What is the cash management? Cash is one component of a working capital management. Working capital management has got 4 important components. Again, the way components are there.
एक क्वेश्चन और करना चाहता
अभी इसको कंप्लीट कर लेने दीजिए.
हूं, वो रह जाएगा सर. जो पेपर आ रहा है ना एमसीक्यू के अंदर, उसके अंदर जो प्रिंट है वो बड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग है सर.
इसको बाद में बात करते हैं. इट्स रिकॉर्डिंग. We will talk about that. Let's class has to be there. This is going to be stored. Okay. So working capital has got 4 components. Whenever you say working capital management, you have to manage your inventory. Somehow inventory management is not a part of your syllabus because it will be studied afterwards somewhere. Second one is receivable management. How best you are managing receivables. Third one is cash management. How cash is going to get managed. And fourth one is payables management. How you handle your payables. These 4 managements are there. First 2 management and fourth management is not there in your part. Look into syllabus. Syllabus talks about only working capital management, return risk of risk return trade-off, and finally cash management. So look into cash management portion. How much cash you should keep, when cash should be there, so how you are going to apply, some important information is there. There are certain cash management principles or objectives. First is that whatever your cash requirement is there, if it can be predicted well in advance, you know when you are going to require how much cash, managing cash will become easy. That's the first thing. So you require cash planning. Cash planning is taking care of future requirement of cash. How much cash you need, when you need, and from where you need. How much you will be able to accrue that. That is what the first cash planning is there. Then you budget it. The quantitative aspect of planning becomes budget. So you have a plan. Plan could be 2 parts. First part of planning is going to be operational requirement, routine requirement, daily requirement, regular requirement. And second part is going to be the requirement which is needed as per your some other plan, like buying machine. You are interested to buy new machine. You want to open a new factory. You want to expand your business unit. Then you require another funding which is away from routine. 2 kinds of requirements are there. Some new activity has to be made. So you will budget. What is cash budgeting? Budgeting is basically preparing the cash flow statement well before actual cash happenings. After happenings, cash flow statement you have already made. You have studied in your previous paper how cash flow statement is prepared, but that is post. जब हो गया तब आप प्रिपेयर किए थे. कैश बजट में क्या करेंगे आप पहले प्रिपेयर करेंगे. सपोज दिस इज जुलाई मंथ, you are preparing for August, September, October, and you are making ready. So how much cash will be coming in August? How much will be going? So cash budget is nothing but cash flow statement well in advance. You prepare that on the basis of your forecasting. Whatever forecasting is there, something will be very normal routine, something will be different. So that is cash budget. Then managing the cash flows, optimum cash levels, and investing surplus cash. What will happen when you will be making a budget? You know where cash is going to be surplus or deficit. Say August, September, October, 3 months of the financing you have made. Now whether this August month of the cash flow at the end is surplus or deficit. Right, maybe surplus. But September month could be deficit. Why I am saying so? A normal financial pattern is as such. that when there is a quarter end, it is always some extra payment is going to be there. Maybe interest payment, maybe quarterly tax payment. So cash outflow is bigger. So August doesn't have that additional cash outflow, but September will have additional cash outflow. So that kind of happenings you have to make clear. Clear. Maybe September month, starting of the festive season, October is a festive season, so you may be giving bonus. Extra payment has to be there, yearly bonus, but appearing in a one particular month of time. That month will have a maximum cash outflow, so that outflow has to be reflected. Now, similarly again, a question arises, whatever the surplus of your August is there, is it sufficient to take care of a deficit of September or not? अगर सितंबर का डेफिसिट वहाँ से नहीं पूरा हो रहा है तो कहाँ से पूरा होगा? कितनी फाइनेंसिंग आपको करनी पड़ेगी? फिर आप उसी क्रॉस रोड पे खड़े हो कि हाउ लॉन्ग यू विल बी टेकिंग. अब क्वेश्चन उठता है कि आपका सितंबर मंथ में एक्स्ट्रा पेमेंट होना है. सपोज करो अगस्त मंथ का जो सरप्लस है वो 100 रुपीज़ है और सितंबर मंथ में जो पेमेंट है वो 300 रुपीज़ का है. क्लियर? तो 300 में 100 तो आपका अपना आ गया and remaining 200 you have to borrow because you have to make payment, and that 200 have you got another deposit from the previous month, maybe from July surplus or maybe from June? Have you got any other surplus? So there is a question mark from where you will get this 200 additional financing. कहाँ से 200 extra आएगा? Point number 2, understand the dynamism of the cash management. और यही कैश मैनेजमेंट पे जो क्वेश्चन है उसका क्रक्स है. देयर इज a static approach of cash management, there is a dynamic approach of cash management, and I am directly jumping to dynamic approach of cash management with the help of illustration. So what you are going to do, that 200 rupees, suppose I say my 100 is going to be surplus in the month of August, taking care of 100 rupees to the extent 300 rupees requirement in the September. So 200 shortfall is there. Now I am going to borrow 200 shortfall. My question is, how long I should borrow? Should I borrow for 1 month? Should I borrow for 2 months? Should I borrow for 3 months? How it will be decided? Borrowing के लिए तो बात करनी पड़ेगी ना, कितने महीने के लिए borrow करें? Any one of you? How long? कितने महीने के लिए बोरो करें? ऑन सो अक्टूबर मंथ का मालूम कर लें. अगर अक्टूबर मंथ में लेट्स माय सरप्लस इज 50 रुपीज. Are you getting the question how it is going to help you in the dynamic approach? Am I clear? So you make it, what is dynamic approach? अगर आपको static versus dynamic approach I am going to share with you is, first one is, when we talk about you are taking a amount, borrowing amount, statistically or statically or traditionally what it has been there, borrow for 6 months, say overdraft facility, take 6 months of amount, whereas you have anyway surplus in the coming month. You are not considering those surplus. आपको 200 चाहिए, लेके कहानी खत्म करो. बैंक वाले ने कहा कि आपको 6 महीने से कम का क्यों ले रहे हो, ले लो, पैसे की जरूरत होगी. आपको जरूरत नहीं है, फिर भी आप ले लिए. What is the bad about it? You have to pay for 6 months interest on that amount. Is it clear? What is dynamic approach? Dynamic approach is I am knowing that in the October month my 50 is going to be there, 50 surplus. So अब क्या करूँगा मैं? 200 में मैं 200 पूरा ना लेके 50 रुपीज़ 1 मंथ के लिए लूँगा. 50 आई विल बोरो फॉर 1 मंथ ओनली, मैपिंग 50, क्योंकि 1 मंथ के बाद मुझे 50 रिटर्न करना है और 1 मंथ के बाद 50 रिटर्न करना है, तो 50 तो मेरे अक्टूबर सरप्लस में आएगा. अक्टूबर सरप्लस चला गया, मालूम हुआ अक्टूबर के बाद नवंबर में मेरे पास ऑलरेडी 150 का सरप्लस आ रहा है, तो दूसरा 150 जो बोरो करूँगा और 2 मंथ्स के लिए बोरो करूँगा. तो मेरी बोरोइंग 200 को भी बिट्स एंड पीस में मैंने बांट दिया. हो सकता है मैं 50-50-50 करके 4 पीस में बांटूंगा, मेरा इंटरेस्ट बर्डन तो कम होता चला जाएगा। तो पहले मंथ के लिए मुझे 200 का पे करना पड़ेगा, दूसरे मंथ के लिए मुझे 150 का पे करना पड़ेगा, तीसरे मंथ के लिए मुझे 100 का पे करना पड़ेगा, चौथे मंथ के लिए मैंने अपना इंटरेस्ट बर्डन रिड्यूस कर दिया। दिस इज डायनेमिक कैश हैंडलिंग। इज इट क्लियर? ये कब संभव है? व्हेन यू हैव ए बेटर फोरकास्टिंग ऑफ योर कैश फ्लो। इफ यू डोंट हैव ए बेटर कैश फ्लो फोरकास्टिंग, this will not be possible. This you don't know. Now 2 aspects are there. This cash forecasting may not necessarily be only for routine activity, even for long-term fund activity. What is that long-term fund activity? It is going to be there required for number of places. May I want to buy, I have to replace one machine in November, which is already order is placed, my shipment is expected in November and I have to make payment. So I have to make my money ready by that time. So even if surplus is there, suppose my August, September, October all are surplus, but then I'll be marking that August surplus is going to be parked for December or November. If suppose November payment has to be made, September is also parked for November, October is also parked for one November, and in November is also coming, that will not be parked, that will be clubbed together. And if suppose my requirement is 1000 rupees and all this parking is going to give me 400 rupees, I know I have to borrow 600 rupees in the month of November. My borrowing is going to be there in the month of. For that, I will create a financial closure with any kind of a funding agencies. I have to look into it. And I know in the month of August that by November when machine will come for 1000 rupees, I don't require 1000 rupees, I require only 600 rupees. And I have a sufficient time to negotiate my resource. I can make financial closure effective. This is the cash management exercise. Am I clear? That's the way cash management works. And so this is what your investing surplus is going to be there. Motives I have already discussed. Now, when we start financing, this also could be a numerical question, but there is a possibility that you will have a question theoretical in nature, but you yourself give illustration. If you answer theoretical question in the finance 100% theoretical, your score will not peak beyond 6 or maximum 7 if बहुत अच्छे से आंसर किया है तो. The moment your theoretical question in finance change it to numerical answer through your own illustration, immediately your marking will go to 9. So your A versus B, C, D depends on the way you have written your same question. Question will be theoretical only. What do you mean by dynamic approach of cash management? How it is beneficial or how it is superior to your traditional cash management? हो गया? Explain. क्वेश्चन एक लाइन में थ्योरी खत्म. आपका आंसर न्यूमेरिकल के साथ होना चाहिए, एग्जाम्पल के साथ होना चाहिए, जो मैंने अभी एक्सप्लेन किया. आप सिर्फ थ्योरेटिकल लिखोगे, मार्क्स आपके 60% से ऊपर नहीं जाएंगे. बिल्कुल. इलस्ट्रेशन अपने मन से ले लीजिए ना, इजी है, कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है, सिंपल क्वेश्चन लीजिए, 100-200 लीजिए, बड़े बड़े लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. राइट? कोई बड़े बड़े लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. इमीडिएटली आपका स्कोर ऊपर चला जाएगा. और अगर बहुत अच्छे तरीके से आपने एक्सप्लेन किया, बहुत ज़्यादा कहानी लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, इफेक्टिव लिखने की ज़रूरत है, और क्लैरिटी इलस्ट्रेशन के साथ रखिए, और आपके 10 में 10 आएंगे. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव गॉट ओ? आई डोंट नो इन विच पेपर, आई एम नॉट अवेयर ऑफ रिजल्ट, मैंने किसी इंडिविजुअल का नहीं देखा है, लेकिन जो ओ वाले हैं, ओ वाले खुश हो सकते हैं. कितने लोगों का ओ है? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव गॉट ओ इन एनी पेपर? 1 या 2, 4, 5, कितना ओ है? लाउडर. आई एम आस्किंग फॉर ओ. 1 है. आपके 1 है. ओके, 2 लोग आपके ये भी ओ हैं. वेरी गुड. 1 है ओ. तो ओ वाले अकाउंटिंग फॉर मैनेजर्स में किसके ओ हैं? अकाउंटिंग फॉर मैनेजर्स में किसके ओ हैं? Anyway, please look for O. That is what I expect from you. How to make it? Excuse me. ये आंसर लिखने के टेक्निक को इसलिए समझा रहा हूँ आपको. आपको आंसर आता है, जैसे मैंने इसी क्वेश्चन की बात की कि व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय कैश मैनेजमेंट. सिंपल क्वेश्चन है. अब कैश मैनेजमेंट को आप अपने तरीके से भी लिख सकते हो. तीन चीजें याद रखिएगा कैश आंसर के स्कोर को बढ़ाने का तरीका. अगर आपका आंसर, एक्सक्यूज मी प्लीज, अगर आपका आंसर बिना पढ़े लिखे लोगों की तरह का आंसर है, क्योंकि कैश मैनेजमेंट मैं किसी 10th क्लास के बच्चे को पूछूंगा वो भी आंसर दे देगा. तो अगर आपके आंसर में प्रोफेशनलिज्म लिखने में झलक नहीं रहा है, आपका 4-5 पे रुक जाएगा स्कोर. दूसरा, प्रोफेशनलिज्म तो झलक गया, आपने कैश मैनेजमेंट में डायनेमिक कैश मैनेजमेंट, कैश इज ए पार्ट ऑफ वर्किंग कैपिटल एंड हाउ डायनेमिकली यू आर गोइंग टू हैंडल इट, ये सब आपने लिख दिया. कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट की बात की आपने, लेकिन उसको थ्योरी पे ही रोक दिया. आप खुश होकर एग्जामिनेशन हॉल से बाहर निकलेंगे. आई हैव रिटन 3 पेज, काउंट कर लिया स्केल लगा लगा के, पूरा पेज भरा हुआ था, एक्स्ट्रा सीट ले लिया था. लेकिन न्यूमेरिकल इवैल्यूएटर जो है आपका, इवैल्यूएटर ढूंढ रहा है कि कहाँ कैश मैनेजमेंट का कोई डिफरेंस, कोई डायनेमिक अप्रोच का डिफरेंस दिख रहा हो. नहीं मिला, कोई बात नहीं है, 50% मार्क्स जाके 60% मैक्सिमम मार्क्स जाके छोड़ देगा. वहीं पे आपसे आपके 3 पेज की जगह कोई 1 पेज थ्योरी और 1 पेज में न्यूमेरिकल लिख के आपसे बेहतर, आपसे 1.5 गुना मार्क्स ले लिया. आपके 6 आए, उसके 9 या 10 आ गए. आपसे कम लिख के आया था, न्यूमेरिकली फास्ट भी कर लिया काम को. आपने शायद 20 मिनट, 25 मिनट, 30 मिनट लगा दिया थ्योरी लिखने में, पेज भरने में. आपको शायद लास्ट में ये भी कंप्लेन हो गया कि क्वेश्चन वॉज वेरी लेंदी, विद इन टाइम इट हैज़ नॉट बीन कवर्ड. और जो 2.5 घंटे में एग्जामिनेशन देके निकला, उसका मार्क्स ए और आउटस्टैंडिंग पे जा रहा है और आपका मार्क्स बी पे आ रहा है. तो इसलिए आपको यहाँ पे पेजेस नहीं भरने हैं, इफेक्टिवली लिखना है. दैट इज द सेकेंड पार्ट. एंड थर्ड इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, एक्सक्यूज मी, आप उस क्वेश्चन में जो भी क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा आपको, इसमें सारे क्वेश्चन रेलिवेंट एंड एज ऑन डेट एप्लीकेबल है. आप उसमें अगर एजम्पशन कुछ लेना चाहते हैं, एजम्पशन एक्सप्लिसिटली नोट कीजिए. जहां आपका एग्जामिनेशन होता होगा, जो इन्विजिलेटर होगा या जो सुपरिटेंडेंट एग्जामिनेशन का होगा, वो आपको इसमें कोई सपोर्ट नहीं करेगा. उसको नहीं मालूम है कि आपको क्वेश्चन कैसे आंसर देना है. ये आपको एजम्पशन एक्सप्लिसिटली नोट कर देना है, और एक्सप्लिसिट एजम्पशन के बेसिस पे इवैल्यूएटर क्या होते हैं, फिर से आपको री इवैल्यूएट करते हैं. और कई बार एजम्पशन बेस्ड इवैल्यूएशन होता है. हर प्रोफेशनल प्रोग्राम में होता है. याद रखिए, ये धीरे धीरे आप लोग अपने आप को मेंटली ट्यून कर लीजिए कि प्रोफेशनल प्रोग्राम है, और प्रोफेशनल प्रोग्राम में आपका अप्रोच राइटिंग द एग्जामिनेशन एक प्रोफेशनल आर्ट होना चाहिए. हाउ टू राइट. यू आर नॉट राइटिंग हिस्ट्री, यू आर राइटिंग फाइनेंस. बी वेरी केयरफुल. तो एनीवे, तो जो ये अप्रोच आपको बता रहे हैं, देखिए, शॉर्ट टर्म कैश फोरकास्टिंग में डिटरमिन ऑपरेटिंग कैश फ्लो, cash requirement, anticipate short term financing, manage investment of surplus cash. This I have already explained you. Then next to that, short term cash forecasting methods. How you can be method, what kind of forecasting could be there? How you will be making that, how much cash forecast is going to be set. Your operation is there. Of course, whatever you try, sometime extreme natural happenings could be disturbing you, like in the month of, February during 2020, we were not knowing how we are heading towards. So everyone has just started forecasting for next 2021 also. Okay, but suddenly when on March 20th, Prime Minister came and one day a restriction at home, still people were afraid of, but not very sure how it is going to turn around. And we know that after March 24th, and kind of turn around, an entire economy got heavy, a different way. Exclude that. Those are extreme cases. We say force majeure. We say natural calamities. Those are exceptions. We can't forecast them. But what is we are going to forecast in a given scenario, in a normal scenario, how we are going to forecast, what kind of cash flow is there. Of course, if you have your past records, past record will be a good help to you. Past record is going to help. Second, your planning, whatever planning is there, that will set your requirement. Third, so receipt and disbursement is going to decide about what you have planned, whatever various receipts are there and whatever disbursements are there. Entire cash flow statement is based on receipt and disbursement. Entire cash flow is based on receipt and disbursement. अंतर कितना है? ध्यान दीजिएगा. How many of you know cash flow statement? कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट आप लोग जानते हैं. तो कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट कब बनता है? फ्लो होने के बाद. आप फ्लो होने के पहले बना लीजिए. अगर आज आप जून तक का कैश फ्लो बना रहे हो, या आज मान लो आज 23rd है, 23rd तक का कैश फ्लो बना रहे हो, 22nd तक का बना रहे हो, कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट है, आगे का बना दोगे, कैश बजटिंग हो गया, फोरकास्टिंग हो गई. दिस इज द ओनली डिफरेंस. You make it. Second is adjusted net income method. What is adjustment is going to take place? What this net income method is going to work you? Now you put your own plan also inside. It is not only receipt and disbursement. You plan. You try to make it that where you will get the fund. लॉन्ग टर्म फंडिंग होगी, शॉर्ट टर्म फंडिंग होगी, कितने पीरियड की फंडिंग होगी. जो मैं बता रहा था कि आपका सरप्लस हो गया तो आप कितने पीरियड के लिए डिपॉजिट करोगे, या बोरोइंग है तो बोरोइंग कितने पीरियड के लिए करोगे और कितना अमाउंट करोगे. दैट इज योर डायनेमिक कैश फ्लो मैनेजमेंट. इसके दो फायदे हैं. जब बोरोइंग आप शॉर्टर पीरियड में करो, एक थंब रूल याद रखिएगा. व्हेन यू बोरो फॉर शॉर्टर पीरियड और शॉर्टेस्ट पीरियड, एंड वेन एवर यू आर गोइंग टू पार्क योर फंड, पार्क योर लॉन्गेस्ट पीरियड. MCQ के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्या करेंगे? बोरोइंग इज ओनली फॉर शॉर्टर पीरियड. जब भी बोरो कीजिए शॉर्टर पीरियड के लिए बोरो कीजिए. जैसे 200 रुपीज़ का बोरोइंग था, 50 रुपीज़ मैंने सिंपली 1 मंथ के लिए बोरो किया, 150 मैंने 2 महीने के लिए बोरो कर लिया या 3 महीने के लिए बोरो कर लिया. जब तक हम लौटा नहीं रहे हैं, उसको जितना फ्रैगमेंट करना है फ्रैगमेंट कर दीजिए आप. क्लियर? सेकेंडली, प्लीज, सेकेंड एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इट, आपके जो सरप्लस हैं उसको लॉन्गेस्ट पीरियड के लिए पार्क कीजिए. एंड व्हाट इज द थंब रूल? व्हाई दिस थंब रूल इज देयर? बिकॉज व्हाट इज द रीजन फॉर दिस थंब रूल? बिकॉज लॉन्ग टर्म रेट इज ऑलवेज हायर देन द शॉर्ट टर्म रेट. हाँ, वो हायर होता है. अभी देखिए, आप जाके 6 महीने के लिए एफडी कीजिए और आप अगर 3 साल के लिए एफडी कीजिए, 3 साल वाला एफडी आपको एक रेगुलर वे में ज़्यादा रिटर्न देगा एज कम्पेयर टू 6 मंथ्स के लिए एफडी. 6 मंथ्स के लिए एफडी कौन करता है? जिसको लिक्विडिटी चाहिए. दैट इज लिक्विडिटी वर्सेस प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी. लिक्विडिटी जिसको चाहिए, जिसको इमीडिएटली पैसा चाहिए, आप प्लान कीजिए. तो ये प्लानिंग आपके लिए इसेंशियल है. ओके, लास्ट बट नॉट लिस्ट, कैश मैनेजमेंट, which is not a part of your SLM. Again, cash management is the mega issue in finance companies, both banking sector and non-bank finance companies, जहाँ सारा खेल ही कैश का है. और जो मैं बातें कर रहा हूँ उनके लिए मैग्नीफाइड वे में इम्पैक्ट डालता है. उनके लिए एक दिन का कैश भी बहुत बड़ा माने रखता है. अभी मैं मंथ की बात कर रहा था. माइंडसेट में कोई नॉन फाइनेंस कंपनीज, कोई मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी था, अब मैं फाइनेंस कंपनी की बात कर रहा हूँ. और जो कैश मैनेजमेंट की बात है वो चाहे बैंक हो या NBFCs हो, दोनों के लिए एप्लीकेबल है. जिनका लेना देना दोनों कैश में है. डिपॉजिट कैश में हो रहा है, डिपॉजिट 0% इंटरेस्ट पे हो रहा है. दे शुड बी ब्लेस्ड विद 0% पे डिपॉजिट. कैसे होता है? कौन सा होता है? करंट अकाउंट. वेरी गुड. कोई कॉस्ट नहीं लग रहा है, बल्कि उल्टा आप सर्विस चार्ज ले रहे हो उससे, राइट? और फिर भी अगर आप कैश मैनेज नहीं कर पा रहे हो अपना, तो बहुत मायने रखता है. सेविंग अकाउंट अनदर, दोनों मिला के कासा बनता है. करंट अकाउंट एंड सेविंग अकाउंट. मेगा चंक रहता है आपके पास फंड का, जो एक लोअर इंटरेस्ट रेट पे आता है. और आप जो फंडिंग करते हो, आपके फिर फंडिंग में भी दोनों चीज है. 0% पे भी फंडिंग होगी. What is 0% funding? Any one of you? कौन सा बैंक का अमाउंट है जो जाता है 0% के रेट पे? एनी वन ऑफ यू? SLR में कैश नहीं होता है, CRR. वेरी गुड. CRR हैज टू कंपल्सरली गो बाय बैंकर. ठीक है, कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं मिलने वाला आपका, आपका कैश जाएगा, कैश डिपॉजिट होगा, अपने डिपॉजिट से कैश निकल के जाएगा. अब बैलेंसिंग, लेकिन फिर भी करंट अकाउंट इज मच बिगर देन द CRR रिक्वायरमेंट. अभी कितना है CRR रिक्वायरमेंट? चलिए देख लीजिएगा. नेक्स्ट इज, अब आप समझ रहे हैं कि कैसे करेंगे. ये सारा का सारा जो सिस्टम है फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन का, दैट इज बेसिकली टॉकिंग अबाउट ALM, एसेट लायबिलिटी मैनेजमेंट इन द बैंकिंग सेक्टर, मिक्स कैश का मैनेजमेंट, वेरी इफेक्टिव, very very important. So that's what it is, cash management. Thank you, thanks a lot for you.
सर एक चीज मेरे को थोड़ा सा क्लियर कीजिए.
Yes.
कंटिन्यूसली कंपाउंडिंग का कंसेप्ट है, ये कंटिन्यूसली कंपाउंडिंग में जो कंपाउंडिंग होती है इसके अंदर ये आवरली होती है या डे वाइज होती है?
Continuous compounding, fraction of second, सेकेंड्स. इवन आप कंपाउंडिंग किए और उसके बाद कंपाउंडिंग करते, फिर कंपाउंडिंग किए, फिर कंपाउंडिंग किए, फिर कंपाउंडिंग किए, एंड दैट्स वाई इसका फॉर्मूला E to the power RT.
मैं ये कहना चाहता था कि जो कंपाउंडिंग हो रही है वो सेकंड वाइज हो रही है.